Continuation of the reading of the book Meditation Made Easy from Lorin Roche. Getting started, getting in. There are 5 stages of getting into a meditation. While you are learning, linger in each stage for a while. A minute or two more or more. Gradualness is everything in meditation. Once you get to know a meditation, you will glide from one state to another spontaneously. Eventually, each state can happen in seconds. Set up the room, let background sensations come forward, attend to inner needs. Feel the call to meditate. Match rhythms with yourself. Include an opening ritual and statement of intention. Set up the room. First of all, check that the phone is off. If you live with people, tell them you are going to be meditating and not to come in, or put a note on the door. Don't tell them to be quiet, though. Noise is no problem. Check to make sure you have fresh air. If you will be meditating for more than 5 minutes, you might make sure there's a jacket, sweater, or blanket at hand in case you get cold. If you want to have a book or of prayers, or a Bible, or poetry, put that by your spot. Then look at the spot where you are going to sit and give yourself a chance to be attached to it. I sometimes suggest to people that they stand near their spot until they really feel like sitting down. Don't make yourself sit. About the background sensations come forward, the attitude of meditation is an open embrace of your entire being. Who you are in your daily life and who you are in your inner self. It is because of this attitude that the outer and inner can meet, interact, and integrate. You start by allowing background sensations, emotions, and thoughts to come to the surface and be tended to. You start by allowing background sensations, emotions, and thoughts to come to the surface and be tended to. The word tender is related to attention, and that's what you do. You tender or pay attention to yourself. You begin this process before you close your eyes, simply by checking in with yourself. As you sit there and start to settle in, your needs will come to the fore because you have made the space and time. You have made yourself available to yourself. Just engaging with yourself in this way in a mini meditation. As you relax a little, you might notice that you are tired. As you know, when you are working, you can be so focused on what needs to be done that you don't feel your body or your tiredness. You override those sensations. When you are getting in, that's the time to give over. Let yourself melt. Let your body shift from working to rest. This tendering to yourself is the same whether you are going to meditate for a minute or 20 minutes. You may long to get on to something more profound, but all these background sensations are the first order of business. You may feel your skin, your muscles, your nerves vibrating. You may be aware of unfinished business in the outer and inner worlds. This is what I mean by attending to needs. Attention is drawn to your own needs. You might think you are tired and become aware of your nerves buzzing and think you are anxious, only to discover that you are excited. As you pay attention, the sensations will tend to change. Take a welcoming attitude towards thoughts, even if you start thinking of your to-do list. Bless your brain as if it were a cat purring. After all, a thought is just a tiny electrical event in your neural circuitry, a millionth of a volt. Thoughts are not something to care much about. The attitude is, I welcome all of who I am into this space. It is this attitude that creates the inner sanctuary. A meditation technique is a way of finding sanctuary within yourself. Within this inner sanctuary, you can think and feel anything without fear of repercussion. You can let your hair down. Nothing counts. You are just letting your mind run wild. Your inner sanctuary is a separate state in which you do not act on thoughts or edit them, but merely witness them. If you like, you can think of it as a confessional or a therapist's couch. Nothing goes beyond these walls. This is so you can let the energies of life flow freely. From the time you begin meditating to the time you end, it is a duty-free shopping zone, a free fire zone. Feel free to call to meditate. As attention settles into feeling your needs, over periods of seconds or minutes, a sense of wanting to close the eyes will most likely emerge. The body wants to give over, to surrender to meditation, in order to fulfill its needs to rest and renew itself. Thus, there is no sense of trying to push yourself into meditation or make yourself want to close the eyes. This is a very important moment because you do not want the habit of pushing to intrude into your meditation even a little, even for a second. You are available to meditate. That is all. The way you work this is, you sit there, aware of yourself, available, until your eyes close of their own accord. If they don't close, fine. You do an eyes open meditation. When the eyes eventually close, you do not do anything special. Just sit there and continue to be aware of your bodily sensations. If you have been working or playing, you will probably be aware of a peacefulness coming over you, a sense of relief and pleasure at being able to sit. If you have just awakened in the morning, you may be aware of feeling foggy and sleepy, and over time find yourself waking up. What you experience in these first few seconds will tend to be very different in the morning and in the evening. You need to match rhythms with yourself. After a while of just sitting there, begin to notice the speed and impetus of your thoughts and feelings. Parts of you may feel hurried and have an urgent sense that things need to be done now. Other parts may be craving on vacations and want to drop out. Images, snapshots of conversation, bodily feelings will come and go in a kind of rhythm. Your task here is to accommodate yourself to the rhythm. This only takes a second, but it is an essential second. Your intention should be to match rhythms with yourself. It is as if you were joining a dance, the dance of nerves and the dance of life. It is like walking into a nightclub where music is playing. You let yourself be moved by the rhythms. Every time you walk into the club, a different band will be playing, or the same band will be playing a different song. Then, as you become one with the rhythms of your inner life, you can play with them. You can add your own, speed the band up or slow it down. When you take a conscious breath, your entire body will change its syncopation. Matching rhythms with yourself means that sometimes you will fall through all these stages in the space of one breath, and on other occasions you might stay in just one thought out your meditation. You might notice a background sensation come up to be felt, and just attending to it might take up your entire meditation time. Sometimes you might find that you don't even feel like closing your eyes to meditate. You might feel like going to a karaoke bar and singing your heart out. Give yourself that freedom. But include an opening ritual and a statement of intention. A ritual is some movement or thought you put forth that says, I am an being individual being, and I recognize that I am part of a vast universe. There are an infinite number of ways to face life and say this. You could look at a photo of the Earth from space, or a robot photography of galaxies being born, or you could think of babies, or you could pray to the infinite. Or if it's sunny, you could go outside and soak up rays for a few minutes. I often watch the sunrise for a few minutes, then, when I go inside to meditate, it is as if my being is filled with light. You can make up your own rituals as you go. I know a woman who says, Thank you, Lord of Life, for the gift of this day, at the beginning of every meditation. As she is saying this, her hands rise from her lap in a natural gesture of openness and thanks. This is just something she did spontaneously one day when we were working together, and she has kept doing this. It is so natural for her and so beautiful. It makes my hair stand on end to be around her when she does this. Thank you, Lord of Life, for the gift of this day. Other people I know say that Lord's Prayer or read a Rumi poem or sing a Gregorian chant in Latin. Once in Vancouver, when I asked a student that prayer, she started saying, Hail Mary, full of grace. If ritual is not delightful to you, then why do it? The feeling underneath all prayer is longing and desiring, and that your real prayer, being with your sense of need, longing, wonder, awe, and at the universe, a gratitude to be alive in your prayer. If you like to think in terms of biology, you can regard your longing for meditation as a tropism. You are turning towards meditation to satisfy a need as naturally as plants turn toward the sun. Some people like to do the same ritual every time they meditate, and other people like to do something different each time. It's very individual. You might prefer one way for months or years and then change to the other. Laughter may be your ritual. Laughter shatters the grip of small thinking and invites us into a grander scheme of things. If you want to do nothing, do the do nothing technique. If you want to get into your body, do the salute to the senses, saluting one sense a day in plenty. If you want to explore your individual taste, do a feeling at home exercise. Always give yourself permission to say no and not meditate right now. Maybe tomorrow you'll find yourself different. Do not feel that you need to impose meditation on yourself. If you can say no today, you can also say yes. Remember, there is no end goal of meditation. It is a tool to help you enhance your appreciation for the gift of life. Beginners often say, it's a relief just to sit still. The air has a silky texture in my throat. The movement of the breath is soothing. I like the rhythm. As I am sitting here, I feel perfectly at home in myself. The do nothing technique. It takes 3 minutes, from 3 to 5 minutes. Lying down or sitting can be your posture, and you can do it at any time. Sit or lie down and just allow your mind to do its things. Your aim is to tolerate being there without trying to control anything. If you can do this, congratulate yourself. Take yourself to lunch. Your path in meditation is going to be pretty simple. Let your attention go anywhere it wants. You can think about your to-do list, movings, nothing, everything. Notice where your mind goes. The only thing that makes this scene even vaguely like a meditation is that you have given yourself a time frame of 3 to 5 minutes. This exercise helps you overcome technique itis, which is the notion that there's something to be afraid of or that the human mind somehow has to be controlled even when you are trying to rest. Techniquitis, left untreated, is mildly contagious and tends to last for 10 to 15 years, or until you give up on meditation forever. To develop an immunity, simply do nothing and tolerate whatever your body and mind do. You want to be in the same state you are in when you are about to fall asleep. The mind is just drifting. You need to find out if you can take whatever happens when you release control. You will learn to experience your natural state without doing anything to it. Many people are slightly ashamed of their unvanished selves and look for techniques to improve themselves. Years later, they are still doing gadgetry to themselves, and often nothing has changed. It is okay if you can't tolerate doing nothing, but that's the place from which you start. If you have a lot of noise in your head while doing nothing, you may find yourself wanting to take actions in some form. Clean up your room, clean up your act. All that noise or mental rehearsal is not a problem and is not to be resisted. Your brain needs to do it. If you find yourself afraid of keeping yourself company, and a certain percentage of people do, then make sure you proceed at your own pace. You could begin by meditating only in places where you feel really safe, whether that is your room, in a church or temple, at the beach, or in a theater between movies. If you have a sleep debt, doing nothing will probably put you to sleep. Most people have at least a few hours of sleep debt. Just take naps instead of meditating, and maybe go to bed half an hour earlier for a few weeks. If you take care of it, you will feel much better and you won't fall asleep when you are meditating. As a bonus, you might not get that cold that's going around because you won't be so run down. You can't learn to meditate if you are fighting sleep. Salute your senses. It's another meditation, then we can talk about this in the next video.